The massive ship appeared without warning on a clear Tuesday morning. It simply materialized in Earth's orbit, causing worldwide panic as radar systems across the planet detected its presence simultaneously. It was 2047, and humanity had just established its first permanent colony on Mars 6 months earlier. Frank Mitchell stared at the live feed on the wall screen, his coffee forgotten in his hand. As Navy commander with diplomatic training, he had spent years preparing for this theoretical moment. Now it was real. "Commander Mitchell, please report to the Pentagon immediately," the voice on his phone said calmly, though he could hear the tension beneath the professional tone. 3 hours later, Frank stood in a room with the Joint Chiefs, the President, and representatives from 12 other nations. His new assignment: lead the first human diplomatic team to meet the aliens. "We've received a transmission," the President said. "They call themselves the Zoraxian emissaries, representing something called the Galactic Council. They want to meet." The meeting location was set for neutral ground, the International Space Station. Frank and his team of 5 specialists arrived via shuttle, hearts pounding as they floated through the docking tube. The aliens waited inside. They stood nearly 7 feet tall with smooth blue-gray skin and 4 arms. Their eyes were large and completely black, showing no emotion as the humans entered. "I am HFY," the tallest one said in perfect English. "We have studied your broadcasts for decades. Your language is simple to master." Frank stepped forward. "I am Commander Frank Mitchell, representing Earth. We welcome you in peace." HFY made a sound that might have been a laugh. "How quaint. We represent the Galactic Council, a federation of 28 advanced species. We have come to offer Earth protected status." Human Secretary Olivia Randall, part of Frank's team, asked, "What does protected status mean exactly?" The aliens explained their system. The galaxy was organized into tiers: full council members at the top, associate species next, and protected territories at the bottom. Earth would be given technology to prevent natural disasters and minor medical advancements. In exchange, humans would stay within their solar system and provide the Council with certain resources. "When can Earth apply for full membership?" Frank asked. The 4 aliens looked at each other and made that strange laughing sound again. "Your species is centuries away from such consideration," HFY said. "You have barely left your planet. Your technology is primitive. Your society still fights among itself." Frank felt his face grow hot but maintained his diplomatic composure. "With respect, humanity has made remarkable progress in a short time. We learn quickly." "Yes," said another alien, studying him with those black eyes. "We have observed this quality. It is unusual. But learning is not the same as wisdom." The negotiations continued for 3 days. Frank and Olivia pushed for better terms, but the aliens remained firm. Earth would be a protected territory, not an equal. They would return in 5 years to reassess Earth's status. Before departing, the Council left an observation post in orbit, a small ship with 4 Zoraxian crew members who would monitor Earth and report back. As Frank watched the enormous alien ship disappear from orbit as suddenly as it had appeared, Olivia stood beside him at the window. "They think we're children," she said quietly. Frank nodded. "They clearly underestimate us. Did you see how they dismissed our questions about their propulsion technology? And they laughed when we asked about their communication systems," Olivia added, "as if we couldn't possibly understand." Frank turned from the window with a determined expression. 5 years. They're giving us 5 years before they return. What can we possibly accomplish in 5 years against technology thousands of years ahead of ours? Olivia asked. Frank smiled slightly. They said themselves we learn quickly. Let's prove just how quickly. As he spoke, scientists around the world were already analyzing every second of recorded footage of the alien ship. Engineers were developing theories based on the glimpses of technology they had seen. Military strategists were planning for every possible scenario. The Galactic Council had made their first mistake. They had shown themselves to humanity, shared just enough information to be dangerous, then left humans to do what they do best: adapt, innovate, and overcome. 5 years suddenly seemed like plenty of time. 1 month after the aliens left, world leaders gathered in Geneva. For the first time in human history, all nations agreed on something. Earth needed to prepare. Old enemies became allies overnight. The threat from beyond the stars made Earth's problems seem small by comparison. Diane Porter hunched over her computer in the new Global Defense Research Center in Colorado. As the lead aerospace engineer, she had been studying the radiation readings taken during the alien visit. "There's something weird here," she told her team, pointing to the screen. "Their ship gave off this energy signature right before it disappeared. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Diane barely slept for the next 3 weeks. When she finally emerged from her lab, she had the beginnings of a new propulsion theory. Within 6 months, prototype engines were being tested. Meanwhile, in a converted warehouse in Nevada, former Marine Paul Baker assembled a different kind of team. Military experts from 20 countries worked together to develop defense strategies against vastly superior technology. "We can't match their firepower," Paul told the room, "but we can be smarter, more creative. If they think in straight lines, we'll think in circles." The observation post aliens watched all this but saw only what humans wanted them to see. Public news showed small advancements in clean energy and medicine, the kinds of progress expected from a protected planet. The real work happened underground, in hidden facilities, in private networks separated from the internet. Kevin Wright never meant to make a discovery. The junior scientist was working on improving radio telescope signals when he picked up strange transmissions from the alien observation post. He almost reported the problem as equipment failure, but decided to analyze the pattern first. 3 days later, Kevin burst into his supervisor's office. "I've cracked their communication frequency," he said, out of breath from running. "I can intercept the reports they're sending back to their homeworld." The next day, Kevin found himself in a meeting with the highest levels of government. His discovery was a game changer. Now Earth could listen to what the aliens were saying about them. "They think we're adjusting well to our place in the galaxy," Kevin explained as translations appeared on screen. "They report that humans are appropriately docile and accepting of their protected status." The room filled with tense laughter. "Let them keep thinking that," said the president. Across the planet, secret factories built components that, when assembled, would become spacecraft unlike anything publicly acknowledged. Engineers worked around the clock, applying Diane Porter's breakthrough propulsion theories. In universities, new curricula focused on advanced physics and xenobiology, the study of alien life. Children played games that secretly trained them to think in ways that might one day help them understand alien technology. But not everyone agreed with the approach. Protests broke out in major cities. "We should be honest with the Galactic Council," shouted one group. "Deception will only lead to war." "They already deceived us by treating us as inferiors," shouted the counter-protesters. The debate raged in public forums, news shows, and dinner tables everywhere. Was it right to pretend to be less advanced than they were becoming? Was it ethical to prepare for possible conflict while smiling at the observers? Olivia Randall, now heading the diplomatic strategy team, spoke on worldwide television. "We're not preparing for war," she said carefully, knowing the aliens would be watching. "We're ensuring humanity's rightful place in the galaxy. We want to be worthy partners, not protected children." Her words were precisely chosen. Truthful enough for her conscience, vague enough not to reveal their true plans. By the end of the first year, the observation post reported back, "Humans developing at expected rate. No cause for concern." By the end of the second year, the first secret shipyard in the asteroid belt was operational. By the end of the third year, humanity had its first working prototype of faster-than-light communication. And they still had 2 more years before the council returned. 4 years had passed since the aliens first arrived. Inside a hidden facility beneath the lunar surface, Captain Lisa Hernandez stared at the sleek ship before her. The UES Defiant was humanity's first faster-than-light vessel, built in complete secrecy. "She's beautiful," Lisa said, running her hand along the smooth hull. Chief Engineer Kyle Reese nodded beside her. "And she works. We've done 7 test flights to the outer solar system. The drive performs better than expected." Lisa had been chosen to command this historic mission for her calm under pressure and quick thinking. Her crew of 12 represented the best minds Earth had to offer. Their mission was clear but dangerous. Travel to the nearest Galactic Council outpost and gather intelligence without being detected. "Pre-flight checks complete, Captain," Kyle reported as the crew strapped into their stations. "All systems green." Lisa took her seat at the command chair. "Start the countdown." The ship hummed to life around them. Unlike the rockets of old, the Defiant's engine was nearly silent, based on the radiation signature Diane Porter had discovered years earlier. "Launch in 3, 2, 1, mark." The Defiant slipped out of its lunar dock and accelerated away from Earth. Once past Mars orbit, Kyle activated the FTL drive. The stars outside the viewports stretched into lines, then disappeared completely as the ship entered what they called slipped space. The journey to the Council outpost took 3 days instead of the decades it would have required at normal speeds. When they arrived, they stayed at the edge of the system, using advanced stealth technology to avoid detection. "There are 14 different species visible on the station," reported Alicia Grant, their communications specialist. She monitored the transmissions flowing from the busy outpost. "And they're not all getting along." Lisa moved to Alicia's station. "What do you mean?" "Listen to this channel," Alicia said, playing a translated conversation. "These 2 species are arguing about resource allocation. This one is demanding equal representation. They're not as united as the Zoraxians made it seem." For the next week, the Defiant observed the outpost. They learned that the Galactic Council was more fractured than it appeared. Several junior species were unhappy with their treatment, especially a race called the Nelvarians, who had been protected for over 2 centuries, with no path to advancement. "We should make contact with them," Lisa decided after a long discussion with her crew. The Nelvarians might be potential allies. It was risky, but Alicia managed to establish a secure channel to a Nelvarian ship docked at the outpost. When the alien captain's face appeared on screen, his expression shifted from shock to curiosity. "You are human?" the Nelvarian asked. "How did you reach this system? Your species is not permitted such technology." "We built it ourselves," Lisa explained. "The Council doesn't know what we're capable of." The Nelvarian, who introduced himself as Captain Zorith, shared his people's frustration. For 200 years, they had been denied full membership despite meeting all the Council's stated requirements. The Zoraxians change the rules whenever a species gets close to equality, Zorith said bitterly. "They want servants, not partners." Over the next few days, the human crew met secretly with representatives from not only the Nelvarians, but also 2 other dissatisfied species. All had similar stories of being held back by the Council leadership. When it was time to return to Earth, Lisa faced a difficult decision. Should they reveal their advancement or continue the deception when the Council returned to Earth in 1 year? "If we show our true progress, the Council might see us as a threat and attack," Kyle argued during the ship's return journey. "But if we keep hiding, we lose the chance to form alliances with other species," countered Alicia. Lisa stared out at the streaking stars. "We need to find a middle path. We'll tell Earth's leaders about the division in the Council. We'll establish secure communications with the Nelvarians and others. But when the Council returns to Earth, we'll still play our part." She turned to her crew with determination in her eyes. "Let them underestimate us a little longer. It will be their greatest mistake." The 5-year deadline arrived. Earth had changed dramatically, but worked hard to hide those changes. Cities looked mostly the same from orbit. The same amount of radio and television signals bounced into space. Satellites moved in predictable paths. But beneath this normal appearance, humanity was ready. Ambassador Eric Garcia stood on the same platform where Frank Mitchell had first greeted the aliens 5 years earlier. Eric had practiced for months to perfect the right mix of respect and awe he needed to show. Beside him stood scientists, military officials, and politicians, all playing the role of an advancing but still inferior species. The Zoraxian ship entered orbit exactly on schedule. Within hours, Tel-4 and 3 other aliens stepped onto Earth's soil once again. Eric noticed immediately that one of the aliens looked different, smaller with purple-tinted skin, and 6 fingers on each hand. "Welcome back to Earth," Eric said with a carefully measured bow. "We are honored by your return." Zel-4 nodded. "I am pleased to see Earth has maintained order during our absence. This is Calera of the Vesperi species, who joins our assessment team." The purple alien studied the humans with bright yellow eyes that seemed to miss nothing. "Your species has made progress since our last visit?" she asked. Eric smiled humbly. "Small steps. We have improved our solar energy collection. We have reduced disease by 12%. Our Mars colony has grown to 1,000 people." These achievements were real but ordinary. Eric did not mention the asteroid belt shipyards, the moon base, or the 5 more FTL ships that had been built alongside the Defiant. For 3 days, the Council representatives toured Earth facilities that had been specially prepared for their visit. They saw clean energy plants, basic spacecraft, and farming technology, all impressive for a young species, but nothing that would concern the Council. Calera seemed particularly interested in human behavior. "Your people adapt quickly," she observed while watching children play in a park. "Most species take generations to accept new situations." Eric wasn't sure if this was a compliment or a concern. "We have always needed to adapt to survive," he said carefully. Meanwhile, the UES Defiant had returned from its second secret mission, just days before the Council arrived. Captain Lisa Hernandez delivered critical intelligence directly to world leaders. "The Council is facing internal struggles," she reported in an underground bunker beneath New York. 3 of the senior member species are in a power struggle. They're distracted, which is why our observation post has been reporting less frequently. This explained why Earth had been able to hide its advancements so successfully. The observers had grown complacent, and their leaders were focused elsewhere. On the final day of the assessment, Zel-4 delivered the Council's decision in a formal ceremony. "Earth will maintain its protected status," he announced. "You have progressed appropriately, but require many more centuries of development before consideration for associate status. We will return in another 10 years to reassess." Eric bowed deeply, showing the expected gratitude. "We thank the Council for its wisdom and protection." Relief was clear on the Zoraxian faces. The humans were developing normally, posing no threat to the Council's order. Their observation post would remain in place, but with reduced staffing, just 2 members instead of 4. As the alien ship prepared to depart, Calera approached Eric privately. "Your people are not what they seem," she said quietly. "I sense there is more happening than we have been shown." Eric maintained his diplomatic smile. "We are an open book," honored Calera. "We hide nothing from the Council." She studied his face for a long moment. "Perhaps your book has pages we have not yet read." After the ship departed, Earth's leaders celebrated the success of their deception. But they did not know that Calera had secretly left behind dozens of tiny surveillance devices in cities around the world. She had her own suspicions about humanity, and she preferred to investigate them personally rather than trust the reports of the observation post. The game of deception had become more complicated, and the stakes were higher than ever. 6 months after the Council's visit, Naval Officer Samantha Foster sat in a secure room 1 mile beneath the Pacific Ocean. On screens around her, the faces of 5 different alien species looked back. This was the first official meeting of what would become known as the Liberty Alliance. "We all share the same goal," Samantha said. "Freedom from Council control and recognition as equals in the galaxy." Captain Zorith of the Nelvarians nodded his long, slender head. For 2 centuries, my people have been protected. We have met every requirement for advancement, yet the Council always finds reasons to deny us. Similar stories came from the Centauri, with their crystal-like skin, the Durans, who resembled large insects, and 2 other species who had been contacted by Earth's secret ships. All had been kept in lower status despite their achievements. Together, we are stronger, Samantha continued. Each of our species has different strengths. Humans adapt quickly and think creatively. Nelvarians have advanced biotechnology. Centauri computing abilities are unmatched. The meeting lasted for hours as they established secure communication protocols and shared technological knowledge. This was the beginning of something unprecedented, an alliance of lesser species working together against the Council's control. Over the next few months, ships from all 6 species met in distant, uninhabited star systems to train together. Human military tactics combined with Nelvarian biological sensors and Centauri navigation systems created capabilities none had achieved alone. Greg Martinez, a brilliant scientist who had helped create Earth's translation technology, worked day and night to improve communication between the allied species. His breakthrough came when he found a way to translate not just words but cultural contexts. It's not enough to understand what they're saying, Greg explained to Samantha. We need to understand what they mean based on their history and biology. Thanks to Greg's work, the alliance grew stronger as misunderstandings became rare. Trust developed between species who had never even known of each other's existence before. Back on Earth, President Laura Wilson received regular updates on the alliance's progress. She had to balance the excitement of these developments with the need for continued secrecy. What about the surveillance devices left by that council member, Calera? She asked during a briefing. We found and neutralized 62 of them, replied Security Chief Ben Morgan. But we're feeding false data to 12 others to avoid suspicion. They show only normal human activity. The president nodded. And our ships? How many do we have now? 15 FTL-capable vessels complete, 10 more under construction, Ben reported. The Nelvarians have contributed 12 of their bioships, and the Centauri have modified 20 of their transports with new drives based on our combined technology. What none of them knew was that one of Calera's devices remained undetected. Hidden in a park in Sydney, Australia, it had captured a conversation between 2 scientists discussing shipyard production schedules. This data was automatically transmitted to Calera's personal receiver, not to the official council observation post. Calera reviewed this information in her private quarters on her homeworld. As a Vesperi, she had always been treated as a junior member of the council, despite her species' talents. She had long harbored doubts about the council's tier system. Shipyards. Advanced propulsion. The humans are far beyond what they showed us, she murmured to herself. She faced a difficult choice: report this to the council as her duty required, or investigate further on her own. If humans and other protected species were forming an alliance, it could change the balance of power in the galaxy. After a long night of consideration, Calera made her decision. She would travel to Earth alone, without council knowledge. She needed to see for herself what the humans were planning, and decide whether to stop them, or perhaps join them. Calera's small ship entered Earth's atmosphere under cover of darkness. She had disabled her transponder and used stealth technology to avoid detection by both the Council observation post and Earth's defense systems, or so she thought. In fact, Earth's sensors had detected her the moment she entered the solar system. Security Director Nicole Adams watched the alien ship's approach on her monitors with a deep frown. She's alone. No weapons powered up, reported a technician. Keep all defenses ready but hidden, Nicole ordered. Let her land. I want to know why a council member is sneaking onto Earth. Calera landed in a forest clearing in northern Canada. Before she could exit her ship, she found herself surrounded by camouflaged human soldiers who seemed to appear from nowhere. Nicole stepped forward. Welcome to Earth, Council Member Calera. This is an unexpected visit. Clara realized she had underestimated Earth's security capabilities. "I come alone, without council knowledge," she said, raising her four-fingered hands. "I need to speak with your leaders." 24 hours later, Clara stood before a panel of human leaders, including Ambassador Eric Garcia and Captain Lisa Hernandez. "The council is corrupt," Clara stated bluntly. "I represent a reform movement among several junior council species. We believe the tier system must end." Nickel didn't trust the alien. "Why should we believe you? This could be a trap to expose our alliance with other species." Clara's yellow eyes narrowed. "If I wanted to expose you, I would have reported the evidence from my surveillance device months ago." The humans exchanged alarmed glances. "What evidence?" Eric asked carefully. "I know about your shipyards, your faster-than-light drives, your meetings with Nelvarians and others." Clara leaned forward. "I want to help you. My people have been second-class citizens in the Council for too long." The debate over whether to trust Clara spread throughout the Alliance. Some saw a valuable ally with inside knowledge of the Council. Others feared a clever trap. While the Alliance leaders debated, a human technician named Daniel Morris worked alone in a communications facility in Brazil. Unknown to his colleagues, Daniel believed humanity should accept its place in the galactic order. The Council's protection meant safety and stability. This alliance would lead to war and destruction. Daniel had secretly copied classified files about Alliance fleet movements and technological capabilities. Now he prepared to transmit this data to the Council observation post. "For the greater good," he whispered as he initiated the transmission. Fortunately, Earth's security systems detected the unauthorized communication immediately. Within minutes, security teams burst into the facility, but Daniel had already sent partial information. Under interrogation, Daniel revealed his motivations. "The Council fears us," he explained to Nicole. "Not because of our technology, but because of our unpredictability. They've studied thousands of species and can predict how most will develop, but humans don't follow expected patterns." At that moment, alarm sirens blared throughout the facility. Nicole grabbed her communication device. "What's happening?" she demanded. "Council battleships just appeared at the edge of the solar system," came the response. 5 of them. "They're on an intercept course for Earth." The partial information Daniel had transmitted was enough to alert the Council to the Alliance's existence. Now they were coming to eliminate the threat before it grew stronger. Earth's leaders activated their emergency protocols. Alliance ships were called to assist, but most were too far away to arrive in time. In the chaos, Clara approached Nicole. "I can help you," she said urgently. "I know the Council battleship's defense codes." Nicole stared at the alien, still unsure if she could be trusted. "Why would you betray your own council?" "Because I believe in freedom," Clara replied. "And because the council is not mine. It has never been mine." With council ships less than 12 hours from Earth, Nicole made her decision. She would trust Clara, because there was no other choice. Earth had 6 hours before the council battleships arrived. Every available ship was prepared for combat. 15 human vessels and 3 Nelvarian bioships that had been in the solar system formed a defensive line near Mars. Strategic Commander Jeff Hayes had never led a real space battle before. No human had, but he had run thousands of simulations and studied historical naval and air combat tactics from throughout Earth's history. "We are outnumbered and outgunned," Jeff told the assembled ship captains via secure communication. "But we have advantages they don't expect." The plan was unorthodox. Instead of facing the council ships in traditional formation, the Earth fleet would use tactics inspired by wolf packs, guerrilla fighters, and even insect swarms. The Council had never faced an enemy that fought this way. On the UES Defiant, now upgraded with Nelvarian bioarmor, Captain Lisa Hernandez prepared her crew. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but for all species who deserve freedom and respect." Beside the Defiant was the experimental stealth ship Phoenix, piloted by Lieutenant Maria Gomes. Her mission was perhaps the most dangerous: to slip past the Council formation and attack from behind using the defense codes Kalara had provided. Kalara herself was on Earth, working with technical teams to crack the Council communication systems. "Your ships must appear and disappear quickly," she advised. "The Council relies on predictable patterns. Break those patterns." The Council battleships entered the solar system with overwhelming confidence. Their scans showed Earth's small defensive fleet and registered no concern. To them, this would be a simple operation to crush a minor rebellion. "Attention Earth vessels," came the transmission from the Lid Council ship. "You have violated Council law by developing forbidden technology and conspiring with other protected species. Surrender now or be destroyed." Commander Hayes sent no reply. Instead, he gave the order to begin. The Earth and Nelvarian ships suddenly scattered in all directions, confusing the Council sensors. They had expected a direct confrontation where superior firepower would quickly decide the outcome. Lieutenant Maria Gomes activated the Phoenix's stealth systems and slipped between two Council battleships. Using Kalara's codes, she bypassed their defensive shields and launched targeted strikes against their engine systems. The Council commanders were shocked. "How did they penetrate our shields?" one demanded as warning lights flashed across his control panels. Meanwhile, the Defiant led a group of 4 ships in a series of quick attacks. They would appear near a Council vessel, fire precisely at vulnerable points, then jump away before the larger ships could respond effectively. "They move like no species we have ever encountered," reported a Council tactical officer. "There is no pattern to predict." The battle continued for hours. Earth's ships took damage, 2 were badly hit, and 1 Nelvarian vessel was destroyed. But they inflicted serious damage on the Council fleet as well. 3 of the 5 battleships had crippled weapons or propulsion systems. The Council commander faced a decision he had never expected to make. His forces were supposed to easily defeat this primitive species, but instead they were fighting a battle they might not win. "Regroup and prepare for full attack," he ordered. All 5 Council ships moved together, combining their shields and firepower. It was a standard tactic that had worked against countless enemies before. Commander Hayes smiled when he saw this. "They're doing exactly what we hoped," he told his captains. "Execute Phase 2. The remaining Earth ships formed a spherical formation around the Council vessels, a tactic the Council had never seen before. Then, using precisely coordinated jumps, they attacked from multiple angles simultaneously. The Phoenix, still undetected, disabled the lead Council ship's main power core. The battle ended not with Earth's defeat, but with a stalemate. The Council fleet, damaged and surprised, pulled back to regroup. As the Council ships retreated to the edge of the solar system, news of the battle spread through subspace communications to every corner of the galaxy. For the first time, in thousands of years, someone had stood against the Council and survived. The real war was just beginning, but the message was clear. Humanity and its allies would not be underestimated again. 3 weeks after the battle, the Galactic Council called an emergency session. For thousands of years, the Council had maintained order through their tier system. Now that system was threatened by an alliance of lesser species who had fought the Council to a standstill. "These humans and their allies must be crushed completely," argued the Zoraxian High Commander. "We must send our entire fleet to Earth and make an example of them." Others on the Council were not so certain. Word of the battle had spread, and many junior member species were questioning the old ways. The Council debated for days, unaware that their communication systems had been compromised. Alliance ships had planted devices based on Kalara's knowledge, allowing them to listen to every word spoken in the Council chambers. Diplomatic Officer Alan Bennett sat with Alliance leaders as they monitored these discussions. "They're divided," he observed. "Now is the time to act." The plan was bold. While the Council argued, a fleet of Alliance ships approached the Council homeworld, not as an invasion force, but as a diplomatic mission, with a powerful message. Alan led the mission personally, His ship carried representatives from all 6 Alliance species, including Clara and several other reform-minded members of Council races. The Council was in session when alerts sounded. The Alliance fleet had appeared in orbit, broadcasting a message on all frequencies to every planet in Council space. We come in peace with an opportunity for a new beginning. Alan's voice echoed through the chamber as he and his team transported directly into the Council session, a move so unexpected that security had no time to respond. The Council members jumped from their seats in shock as humans and other protected species suddenly stood among them. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded the Zoraxian leader. Alan stepped forward. "We are here to propose a new galactic charter, one based on cooperation rather than control." Before the Council could respond, Clara activated a device that projected evidence across the chamber, records of Council manipulation, suppression of technology, and violation of their own stated principles. "These records are being broadcast to every world in Council space," Alan explained. "Your people are watching. They are learning the truth." The evidence was overwhelming. Secret Council directives revealed how they deliberately kept protected species from advancing too quickly, how they modified requirements whenever a species got close to promotion. As the broadcasts continued, several Council members changed sides, joining Alan and Clara. "The tier system has corrupted us," declared a senior Vesperi representative. "We began with noble intentions but have become what we once fought against." The Zoraxian leadership, seeing their control slipping away, attempted one final desperate move. They sent coded orders to their fleet: destroy the Alliance ships and any Council members who supported them. But when the orders reached the Zoraxian fleet commanders, something unexpected happened. The commanders refused. "We have sworn to protect the principles of the Council, not its corruption," the lead commander transmitted back. "We will not fire on those who seek truth and fairness." The revolution was peaceful but complete. Within days, a new galactic charter was proposed, one that eliminated the tier system entirely and recognized the rights of all sentient species to determine their own path. 6 months later, Fleet Admiral Diane Porter, promoted from her earlier role as an engineer, stood on the observation deck of a massive new ship. Built through the combined technologies of 12 species, the Galaxy Explorer was the largest scientific vessel ever constructed. Beside her stood a Nelvarian scientist, once considered too primitive to join Council research. "I never imagined this day would come," the Nelvarian said. "All species working together as equals." Diane smiled as she watched construction teams from across the galaxy working in perfect coordination. "Their greatest mistake wasn't underestimating our technology," she told her friend. "It was underestimating our ability to make friends." She looked out at the stars, now open to exploration by all, "and our ability to create something better than what came before."